like and subscribe. Women of Reddit, how would you feel about both partners in a marriage taking a brand new last name to begin a new legacy and traditions? This is the route my fiancé and I are going down. Our surnames don't combine well, and we don't want to hyphenate. We don't like the idea of one of us taking the other's name. That feels unfair and unequal to us. I've been slightly stunned by people's reaction though. In fact, I've stopped telling people, because it's somehow a hugely emotive topic for some people. I had someone tell my fiancé that he'll disappear from people's lives, because no one will be able to look him up, as if anyone ever says that to a woman. I like genealogy and the idea of family history and legacy, so that is not for me, but people can do whatever they want. Edit, ***, since some people have been confused by part of my answer, I want to clarify that I did not mean I wanted to keep the name for the sake of genealogical record keeping. I meant that I personally enjoy genealogy *BECAUSE*, I enjoy family history, traditions, and legacy, and what a family name represents. So I'm personally not interested in adopting a brand new name without any family history behind it. My husband and I combined our names to make a new one. I was going to keep my own name, but it was important to my husband that we shared a name, so this was the best solution. Consenting adults can do what they want, but our team everyone keeps their own name. I would not change my name. I also don't want to get married though, so maybe I am just not a team player. I like the idea in theory. In practice, it seems doubly impractical though. I'd still have to change over all my identification, professional memberships, check on the legal documentation around the deeds to my house, etc. The only difference is that my partner would be subjected to the same inconvenience. Fine. As long as everyone involved agrees and is happy with that choice, then I think it's a fine one. One of my former co-workers and his wife did this. Super cool. I find this very interesting. Personally, my last name changed every time my mom got divorced, we married, then divorced again. By the time I got married I was happy to take my husband's last name, because it felt like I actually had a say in what my name would be for the first time in my life. I would like to think I might have done this if I did not get married. It is the ultimate control of your name. I don't want to push your decision one way or another with my questions below, but there are things you might want to consider. 1. I love researching the meanings and cultural significance of surnames. The etymology of a lot of common English surnames are based on professions, i.e. Smith or Walker, or parental relation, i.e. Fitzroy or Johnson. Will your new name follow that etymology, or will you go in a totally different direction? 2. If your goal is truly to start a new legacy/tradition, would you be comfortable if your future children also create new names when they get married, or come of age for the same reason, or perhaps revert to your original last name and choose to let your newly created name go au retinto, thus killing any potential legacy? 3. If you are genuinely looking for feedback on the logistical challenges of not being able to track lineage via last name, I would look up the Viking system of surnames. The last name changes each generation, based on your father's first name and your gender assigned at birth. Iceland keeps this tradition going today. Norway, Sweden, and Denmark have abandoned this system in favor of traditional surnames. Obviously it is different from your idea, but it might be worth reading up on the pros and cons, and how people who have that culture actually feel about having mismatched last names within their nuclear family. Edit, cannot spell. We did this back in 95. I had one of those common first names, so the teachers and everyone called me by my last name. We ended up merging our two middle names in the way that sounded best to us. A cable installer pronounced it differently, and we liked that even better. It cost me $15 for the name change, and hers was free with the marriage license. I got tight comments from my dad's family as I was the oldest male child of the generation, but that just helped us coin the new family motto. Honestly, changing names is a pain in the... I don't care what other people do, but I'd personally never do it, because that seems like a major hassle. As much as I hate to say it, I am super attached to my last name. I am sure I wanna change it, if/when I get married. I like the idea of taking a brand new last name, but I have a culture block to doing so. My last name is tied to my family, our history, and our ancestors. While this would be a really cool way to enter into marriage, if I hyphenated our last names ITDB Davy Jones Suharu, I think I wanna do that. I've known some people who did that and always really liked the idea a lot. Husband wasn't down though, lol. Cuts out a lot of the practical issues of hyphenating or keeping separate last names for people who don't want to go the traditional route. X. Confusion if kids don't share a parent's name, or just dealing with the length of a hyphenated name. As someone with a hyphenated last name, I appreciate you recognizing that it is just not practical. Thank you. I have had the changing your name after marriage discussion so many times, and so many of my super feminist friends, I'm a feminist too BTW, ignore my very real concern that hyphenated names are a pain in the... I have had people actively tell me that I am an anti-feminist because I chose to take my husband's name, since I just did not feel like dealing with a hyphenated name anymore when I got married. The kid's last name is not a huge issue, because so many people get divorced and remarried. My mom and so many of my friends' moms had different last names from them, because of second marriages. We all knew how our moms were. My kid's last name is not the same as mine, because I did not change mine when I got married. It has never caused confusion. Why not? It would probably be more convenient than something hyphenated. Right, and you get to pick a name that sounds good with both your first names, and it is like a starting point for a whole new set of traditions and a new legacy. Think of all the amazing possibilities. You can pick a name that has a meaning you like, or something that just sounds cool. I thought about this myself, and at first glance it sounds really neat. However, my family's name was actually changed to blend in better with the majority of society back then when they migrated. I am a byproduct of my long past relatives changing their name, meaning I can only go back so far to find my family. It sucks. As much as it sounds cool, I do not want to change my last name. The name I am given is the one I will die with unchanged. I wanna change it for a partner or anyone else. It's fine, but not for me. I like my last name and would want to keep it. I like my partner's last name and think he should keep his. This is what my sister and her husband did. They were going to take her last name, but he found out there was another man in our family tree with that name and got jealous, lol, so they took a new name and they love it. I'm just sad they picked an entirely new name, because their combined name would have been Weeble, and I tried so hard to get her to pick that, because her marriage will wobble, but it will not fall down. This is a cool idea actually. I'd be willing to try it. I suggested this, but my family thought I was nuts, but I think it's cool. It is definitely not a route I would take personally. I guess I just don't love the idea of taking a new / made up name that neither of us have any connection to, but it is a cool concept and I totally understand why some couples would choose to do this. In Spanish culture, the last names of both parents are combined. I guess it technically creates a new legacy, or at least a new branch, if your father's surname is Lopez, and he marries a Fernandez, Yao Lopez Fernandez. If he has a sister who marries a Romero, her kids would be Romero Lopez. I know it is not entirely equitable seeing as the surname of the mother is still patrilineal, but I still think it is nice to see my mom's surname included in my name. Personally, I wouldn't do it. Rather than starting a legacy of my own, I want to contribute to or turn a new leaf on the legacy of my family. Moreover, I value my current last name a lot, both from a cultural heritage standpoint as well as just a means to commemorating my family history. That being said, I wouldn't change my name if I got married. I love the idea in theory. But the reality is that your kids, if you plan to have any, will still be pressured by society to have their family adopt this new made-up name if they are male, or drop the name if they are female. Out of curiosity, would the idea be for each new married couple to come up with their own brand new last name? Forever into infinity? I mean, as I said, I love the idea in theory. I think it's awesome. It's not fair that one person, typically the woman if it's heterosexual, has to change their whole identity when the other doesn't. I mean this sogournouy no lawyer vertical bar. I could not care less if a couple decides to do this. It affects me in 0 ways. You do you, boo. My husband and I did this. We were in the process when our first child was born, so her last name was actually the new last name before ours was. We are very happy with our decision to forge a new family name for ourselves. I'm proud of my maiden name, so I made it a second middle name for myself. I've seriously considered this. As a Canadian, my dad was a victim of the colonization and my maiden name isn't a real last name. Just something assigned by the government. Been feeling really conflicted about it lately. It is not allowed where I live. But if both parts and local laws are consenting, good for them. I wouldn't want that for myself, but if others like the idea they should pursue it. I love that. My partner and I are both taking my last name. I am the female, so it is very non-traditional. We dabbled with the idea of picking a new name, but we realized that the reason we were picking a new name was because we did not want to upset any family members who would look down on us for choosing my name. Once we realized our reasoning was not a healthy reason, for us at least, we went with my last name. However, for you to choose a new name specifically to begin a new legacy and tradition, I think is beautiful. I think the decisions you two, as in a couple in general, both make as a family unit moving forward should be well based in intentions. My intention to keep my name was to stay connected to my culture in what little I have left of it. His intention to take mine was because he wanted to share a last name and was not particularly tied to his. So it works for us. Mind you, it was not an easy conversation with certain family members, but it has gotten a lot better. Practically, society is not set up for that, so it would be pretty disjointing. Presumably, the value of adopting a new name upon marriage could carry on as a family tradition, further confounding the problem. As a concept, I have no problem with it whatsoever. But it could be problematic in terms of identification. Completely altered names from prior accreditation, which has always been a problem for women, but hyphenating addresses, finding family and origins, misassociating your family with others, and potentially legal troubles in terms of taxes, inheritance, and custody in the event that the names aren't properly amended in all cases. I'm sure that family predecessors could be hurt by a move like this, though. It does superficially signal a sort of split from the family, even if that's not the intention of it. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.